Heavy silence settled in the flat, almost as heavy as the pressure in Inoka's chest. He knew he messed up the moment he saw Kuguri's glossy eyes. Or maybe even before that, back at work when he glanced at the clock and realized he completely forgot about their date, and no amount of speed could get him home fast enough to make it in time. But surely he could make it better, right? He just needed to apologize profusely and make a new plan Kuguri would look forward to. He could make it right. It just needed a bit of effort and everything would be fine. Because the So I Know would never stood up someone he loves. The words chilled deeper than he expected, the badly hidden anger in Shibama's otherwise so gentle face making them feel like a punch. Although not as much as the crushing disappointment badly hidden behind the weak smile that he saw in Kuguri's eyes when he knelt down. He was so looking forward to it, wasn't he? A deep sigh heaved through his chest as he slumped on the chair Kuguri sat on before, raking his hands through his hair with a quiet hiss when pain pounded through his skull. He really was a giant screw-up, wasn't he? Doing exactly what Kuguri's exes did, raising his hopes only to crash it again. But he couldn't just get up and not help at work, could he? If someone asked for help, it was the right thing to go and help them. Surely Kuguri, the kindest soul he knew, understood that, right? If you weren't a soft-hearted idiot, you would see they are using you. That's not the case. He's just upset and seeing things. They wouldn't do that. Why would they do something like that? He had known his coworkers for so long already. They were his friends. They just needed help with some stuff. It just so happened to be while he was recovering. Nothing more to it. Right? He glanced towards the bedroom door, the urge to get up and cuddle Kuguri to sleep like he usually did growing stronger. However, he had no illusions that after what happened, Shibama was guarding him now and wouldn't let him anywhere near him for tonight. Hopefully just tonight. With one last sigh and glance towards the door, he forced himself to move and bring himself some spare pillows and blanket back on the couch. His back wasn't going to thank him for it. The last thing he wanted was to hurt Kuguri even more. He had done enough damage for just one day. Unsurprisingly, he only got a barely hearable greeting from Kuguri and a pointed glare from Shibama when they met in the morning, putting a damper on any attempt to reconcile he could have thought of. He didn't try anything for the sake of not putting Kuguri through witnessing another argument, and just quickly grabbed his bento before rushing to work. A cowardly approach, perhaps, but right now it was the best one. At least until he figured out how to apologize. And then there were Shibama's words resonating through his head as well. He tried to not let any of his inner turmoil show on his face when he was around the kids, but being the perceptive darlings they were, he still got several questions if he was alright. They are so smart for their age, it's amazing. One of the reasons why he loved his job, honestly. He reassured the kiddos everything was alright, subconsciously glancing over to the door leading to the other parts of the kindergarten, the ones where his co-workers had their classes. It's not like that. They wouldn't take advantage of others. They work in childcare, for God's sake. How could they? And yet, when he had a moment of time alone while the kids had their snacks, and his mind wandered to the past, to all the instances he agreed to stay late, He couldn't help but wonder if Shibayama knew something he didn't. But how? Inoka-kun, can I have a word with you? He startled a little when the older woman appeared next to him. Oh, yes, of course. Did something happen? No. I just wanted to ask how you are doing. You gave us quite a scare with that injury, you know? It would be a huge loss for us if you had to retire, so I wanted to make sure you are resting properly. Inoka paused, the echo of everything Shibayama already threw into his face returning to him for a second. Is it because my partner called you about it? The woman sighed. Partially, yes. He seemed really worried about you, and after listening to him, I am too. Head injuries are a serious matter. I trust that you know what you are doing, but from what your partner said, it seems to me that you are taking on much more responsibility than you should right now. She did sound genuinely concerned, although in a much different way than Shibayama, that Inoka couldn't possibly dismiss her. His mind took him back to the evenings spent over paperwork, cleaning, and other stuff that needed to be done, the way his head always pounded when he finally headed home. Under normal circumstances, he wouldn't think much of it. He had stayed late a few times before too when something unexpected occurred during the day. It wasn't a big deal. However, now that he thought about it, I'm just doing my part. It's alright, you don't have to worry about me. Alright, if you say so. I'll still remind the others to go easy on you for the time being. Thank you. He watched as the headmistress walked through the door into the other class, possibly to do just that. The amount of thoughts suddenly swirling in his mind making him lightheaded. He appreciated the concern, of course, even though it was probably mostly fueled by the need to avoid looking for a new teacher and also Shibayama's call. But at the same time, wasn't going around his colleagues and specifically reminding them to go easy on him a bit of an overkill? He stopped as the memory of Kuguri's destroyed expression flashed through his mind, making his chest constrict. The So I know would never stood up someone he loved. What am I doing? Giving himself a firm slap on the cheeks to wake up, he turned his focus back on the kids, firmly decided he won't repeat the same mistake again. Kuguri deserved better than his shitty excuses. And Yuki too. Everything went smoothly from then on. The kids behaved well, didn't protest when it was time to clean up, and even all the parents showed up on time. Exactly what he needed to quickly pack up and have enough time to stop at a store to pick up some apology gifts. A peace offering, if you will. Which was exactly what he started on, ready to bolt out of the door immediately, when a call of his name stopped him. Hey, that's Katie are still here. Can you do me a big favor? Pretty please. Furrowing his brow, Inoka turned to her but didn't stop packing his stuff. Sorry, can't today. I need to go home. Oh, come on, help a friend out. She gave him puppy eyes, unbeknownst to her that the only puppy eyes he was weak to were those of his sisters, the kids, and Kuguri's. He sighed and threw the bag over his shoulder, feeling awful for refusing, but it had to be done. He couldn't fail his boyfriends again. I need to go home today. I've been helping you for most of the month. Well, yeah, but I really need saving today. I'm sure your girlfriend won't mind. Just buy her some cheap bouquet on the way and it's all good. Come on. Inoka stopped mid-step, gritting his teeth. They know you are supposed to rest, and yet they still keep asking you to stay late. I have a boyfriend, and that's awful. Besides, haven't Hamada-san told you I should take it easy? Nakama rolled her eyes as if it was the most inconvenient thing in the world. Yeah, but it's just a few papers. Great, then you can surely manage them yourself. I'm going home. Seriously? And here I thought I can count on you to help out. We're supposed to be a team here, you know? The absolute audacity? Clenching his hand on the strap of his back, Inoka narrowed his eyes at her, a wave of annoyance washing over him. He didn't want to believe it before. Wanted to believe his coworkers were nice and good people, and that Shibayama was exaggerating. Now though... I've been helping you and Mina the whole month since I came back, doing all the things you didn't want to do yourself. Where was the team then, huh? You're so selfish. Selfish, huh? No, I'm telling you I'm done being your chore boy. He pushed around Nakama, not sparing her a single glance anymore. Fury simmered in his chest, mostly at himself for being stupid and letting himself be ordered around under the guise of helping. Underneath that, though, guilt and sorrow filled the void left by the realization that Shibayama was absolutely correct in his assessment. Just how much worries and pain he caused his boyfriends, how much damage he did to his own body, and for what? Do whatever you want, I'm going home. And don't expect me to stay late because you are too lazy to do paperwork and clean. He didn't wait for her response, ignoring the shouts about him getting fired as he shut the door behind him. His hands trembled a little while he took a few stabilizing breaths, a regret and worry joining the mix of emotions already swirling in his chest. It felt pretty good to stand his ground, freeing even. He wasn't worried about getting fired either, since he was finally doing what the doctors told him to. However, the price for the realization might have been too high right now. Come on, it's not lost yet. You can make it better. You can repair stuff. With one last deep breath, he collected himself enough to rush out of the building, heading straight to the nearby shop he knew sold exactly the things he needed to start the apology process. He stopped in front of the door of their flat, a bag with apology gifts in one hand and his other hovering hesitantly over the doorbell. Of course, it was today of all days that he forgot his keys, meaning he had to face one of his boyfriends right away by the door and risk getting them shot in his face. But if that was his punishment for hurting Kuguri so much, then so be it. He just needed them to take the gifts. He could go sleep somewhere else for as long as they needed space. The muffled doorbell ringing sent shivers down his spine. For a while, nothing happened, and then his heart jumped in his chest when the door opened. Oh, how nice of you to join us earlier tonight. He crossed his arms over his chest, leaning on the doorframe. No extra work today? No, I had an eye-opening discussion. I would hope that it was the one we had yesterday, but good on you for getting there at least. Yuki... I take it that you finally saw what they were doing? Inoka sighed. Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't believe you. Biting hard on his lip, he clenched the bag in his hand before handing it to Shibayama. Can you give this to now? And there's something for you too, as an apology. Shibayama stayed unmoving for a moment, just measuring him with a look that made Inoka shiver, and then stepped aside. You can give it to him yourself, dummy. No shovel talk? Don't make me change my mind. He gently punched Inoka's arm as he walked by, but his face remained soft, just like he was used to seeing him. With his heart beating fast, Inoka made a quick way to the living room, his chest constricting a little when Kugure hesitantly perked up upon spotting him. Hey, I'm home. He can see that. Welcome home. I'm sorry for yesterday, and for all the nights before too. I should have listened to you. He left the bag aside for now and lowered himself to his knees in front of Kugure, taking his hands in his palms. And I'm sorry for not being here for the date. So, I know it's not fair to ask, but if there's a way for you to forgive me, then please tell me. I'll do anything, I promise. He waited for what felt like eternity, looking into the mirror that were Kugure's eyes with both hope and dread in expectations of the final verdict. He wouldn't blame Kugure for not forgiving him, right now or ever. But if there was just a sliver of hope that he could repair this, then he was ready to do everything in his power, even if it killed him. Can you promise me that you'll be careful with yourself from now on? Careful? Yes. No overtime, enough rest and sleep. Please. Of course that was his request. He should have known. He brought Kugure's hand to his lips, leaving a light kiss on his fingers. I promise, and I swear I'll take you out, properly and with everything you want. You better. That dinner still sounds good. Okay, we'll go for dinner. Barely holding back from squealing in relief and happiness, he pulled the bag to his side and grabbed the set of fancy notebooks and pens he bought earlier, as well as the pack of chili crackers Kugure always snacked on when he worked. Kugure's eyes widened a fraction as he clutched the notebooks to his chest, his expression oh so adorable. How did you know? I saw you browsing the web last week, so I thought you could like them. He let Kugure settle his thoughts in peace and handed Shibayama the new sports bag he got him, along with a box of protein bars. Yours has hole in it. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Though I hope you don't think you can buy us back with material stuff. Kugure flinched, despite Shibayama's tone being more a playful warning than strict, and Inoka quickly squeezed his hand, smiling. I know, don't worry. I'll work on other stuff as well. But please be careful. Don't overwork yourself again. Unable to resist, Inoka reached up to kiss his forehead. I promised you I'll be careful, and I'll keep that promise too. Finally, Kugure seemed to relax then, even cracking a tiny smile of his own as he hugged the notebooks again. But thank you. And for now, Inoka could relax too. It wasn't perfect yet, he wasn't completely forgiven, but that was fine. He could work it out, slowly but surely.